Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a few weeks since I posted a video, so I do apologize about that. It's just work has been crazy right now and taking care of my baby who will be 6 months next week, which is crazy. This time is just flying by. But I wanted to do a coffee chat today. I have been requested to do a why I'm vegan video, and then I've also seen the why I'm still vegan video going around. So I know it's everywhere right now, but I did still want to put out a why I am vegan video, so I figured it would be a perfect time to do a coffee chat. So if you want to pause this video, go make yourself a hot coffee or tea and get yourself a snack, and we will just get into it. I'm drinking my coffee out of my Ray Dunn mug. It says Dream on it. Absolutely love Ray Dunn if you haven't noticed. If there are any other Ray Dunn lovers, let me know down below. Okay, so where do I even start? I have no idea. I wanted to make this video a long time ago, but then I figured, let me wait a little bit. And I figured, let me just wait a little bit until I'm vegan a little bit longer. And I also wanted to write it down, all my thoughts on this, because I didn't want to be all over the place, but I never got a chance to doing that. So I'm just here now, here we are. So hopefully I don't ramble on for an hour. But okay, so let's start with, I've been vegan for about 2.5 years now. I went vegan, let's see, what year was it? 2016 in July. It was the weekend after July 4th. And so yeah, it'll be 3 years coming up this July, and I wish I would have became vegan sooner. I know everybody says that as soon as they become vegan, the one thing that they regret is they wish they would have done it sooner, and that is so true for me. Growing up, my household was like a meat and potatoes standard household where we ate, you know, meat, potatoes, dairy, milk every dinner, pretty much. My mom was an amazing cook. She really was. She still is. But that's what we ate, and that's, I'm pretty sure, what most kids ate growing up back in the 90s. So that's what I grew up on. Now, I was never really a huge fan of eating meat. I just ate it because that's what we ate. So fast forward to when I started cooking for myself, whenever I moved out, I still just really hated cooking meat. You can ask my husband. I would make him prepare the meat most of the time, like the chicken and things like that, just because I was so grossed out over it. And I was never really a huge fan of like steak and things like that. Now don't get me wrong, I did enjoy like a burger and seafood and things like that. Okay, so fast forward to about 2.5 years ago, I stumbled and I kind of went into like the what I eat in a day and food haul rabbit hole down in YouTube, and I came across Kate Flowers' videos, and she talked a lot about veganism, and she also had a lot of what I eat in a day videos and some food hauls, and I just was so curious about it, so I just started watching and pretty much binging all of her videos. And then I came across other videos, and she talked about watching these documentaries and Cowspiracy, and so I kind of just went down the rabbit hole in YouTube, if you know what I mean. We've all been there, I'm sure. So I was just learning all of this information about veganism, and I always did follow Kalau, and I knew that she was vegan at the time, and I was always kind of inspired by that, but I just never made the change up until 2.5 years ago because I didn't really want to think about it. I didn't really want to think about what was going into my food and how it was made and how it was killed and things like that. I just didn't want to think about it, and I think most people are like that. They just don't want to think about how it's really done. Basically, there's a middleman who does all the dirty work, and nobody really thinks about that. So yeah, I went down the rabbit hole in YouTube, and then I learned about all these documentaries that I started watching, and so basically that 4th of July, I was eating meat, but in my mind I'm thinking like, this is disgusting. Knowing what is in this and knowing how it was made, this is repulsive to me, but I still ate it. But in my mind I'm thinking like, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I can do this anymore. So that whole week pretty much I kind of stopped eating most meat, and I just kept doing more research and research and watching documentaries and things like that. And I watched Cowspiracy, and it was basically like my mind did like a 180 flip. And I'm like, I'm done. I cannot eat meat anymore. I don't want to consume dairy. I don't want any part of any of this. I don't want any part of the animal agriculture industry. I don't want any part of it. So that next weekend, I was done. I was completely done. I made the switch, and I was never ever going back. And I'm still vegan today, and it's all for the animals. I learned so much. It's crazy whenever you first go vegan because you have all of this new information in your mind. You watch all of these videos, you watch all these documentaries, you read all this information, you try all of these vegan foods, and you talk to these people that are vegan, and it's like the feeling is very overwhelming, but it's kind of like adrenaline rush at the same time. Just because you have all this information and you're just kind of looking around at people like, why are you not vegan? You don't understand it. I would make my husband watch all these documentaries and he just wouldn't get it. And I'm like, why? This is just wrong. Why are you still consuming this? But that's a whole nother story with my husband. And I already made a video on that, so you can watch that. I'll leave it down below. But you just have all this information, and my eyes were basically just wide open, and I'm thinking like, I could never, ever, ever pay my dollars to that industry ever again. Just knowing what goes into making that, the cruelty behind it, it's just something that I don't want to be a part of. And it's funny because I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, somebody that my husband works with asked him if I ever cheat, because she's trying to go vegan, which is definitely amazing. But she asked him if I ever cheat on being vegan and the vegan diet, and what happens if I accidentally buy something that's not vegan. And for one, to answer that question, that rarely happens because I really am very thorough about reading the ingredients now, and if I'm not sure of something, then I look it up on my Is It Vegan app, or look it up online. And if that were to happen, then my husband would eat it, I'm sure. But for the first part is if I ever cheat, and that just surprised me because this isn't just a diet to me. This is a lifestyle. I'm doing this for the animals. And even though the benefits are great for my health and the planet, the number one reason I'm vegan is because of the animals. Just because they're an animal, I don't feel like their life is any less deserving of compassion and kindness and love. I feel like just because I'm a human doesn't mean that they're any less deserving of that. There's this one video, I think it might have been a clip from Earthlings. I haven't watched that. I've seen clips of it, but it just breaks my heart. I can't bring myself to watch that video. But I did see a clip of it, and I think this was from it. And there was a baby cow that was being taken from the mother, and the mother cow, because if you know anything about the dairy industry, how do they produce milk for us? Well, they have to get pregnant, because, and that's another thing, like I never really thought about cows having to get pregnant just to make milk. Obviously, I mean, that makes sense. How else would they make milk? But I never really understood the industry upon that, and it's horrifying. Very, very horrifying. If you think about if you are a mother and if your baby was ripped from you as soon as you had it, and you were hooked up to machines just to give us milk, it's gonna make me cry. This is probably the saddest thing to me.
This baby cow was born last night, but the few good moments of his life are already over. He's seen as a byproduct of the dairy industry, so he will be taken away from his mom to be confined in a small crate and then killed for veal. They will never see each other again. Mother cows have been known to cry for weeks over the loss of their babies. In about 4 years, after this cow's milk production starts to decline, she will be killed to become hamburger meat. This is the price a mother and her baby pay when we eat meat or dairy products.
Think about your baby being ripped from you and you being hooked up to machines to produce milk for another species, and you will never see your baby ever again. Your baby will either have the same destiny as you do, or they are immediately killed for meat. It's just a sad life if you think about it. That's all your life is. It's just a human impregnating you and you never being able to show your baby love. The milk's not for them. Who's it for? It's for us. So it's really sad. And I don't think a lot of people really think about that, and maybe they just don't care, but I think that a lot of animals, they deserve compassion and kindness and love, and they deserve to love their babies and give their babies milk. And so that's a big reason why I'm vegan too. It's just the whole industry is just terrible, and it's something that's not talked about enough, or people just turn a blind eye and they just don't really think about it. I hope I'm not all over the place, but I'm trying to get the point across that I'm vegan for the animals. And like I said, there are a lot of benefits to the planet for being vegan and also to my health. But at the end of the day, I'm vegan for the animals. And I think it's a double standard when people love their dogs and their cats, but they eat pigs and cows and things like that. What's the difference? Why is one better than the other? Why can you love one more than the other? It just doesn't make sense. And I know it has a big thing to do with the cultural difference, where some countries, they do eat dogs and cats, and we eat pigs and cows, and many countries don't eat pig. But I don't understand why one is better than the other. Why we can love one and treat one with humanity and compassion and not the other, where pigs are smarter than dogs, you know? It just doesn't make sense to me at all. So yeah, learning about veganism and the cruelty behind factory farming and the dairy industry and just animal agriculture altogether, that made me turn vegan. Watching documentaries such as Cowspiracy, it basically made me go vegan overnight. Yeah, it was like a seed was planted in my head when I was watching the YouTube videos, but then whenever I watched the documentaries and really learned about it and just saw the torture and everything behind the industry, then I went vegan overnight, and I'll never go back. I am so grateful that I found veganism. I never ever want to vote with my dollar to the animal agriculture industry and factory farming. I never want to pay another dime to that industry and support it, and that goes along with everything from cruelty-free makeup to household products to what I wear to even zoos and things like that. I never want to pay my dollar and support that cruelty because it's just not fair to the animals. I feel like they deserve a life of happiness and, like I said, compassion and kindness and love, and not a life just locked behind walls in a cage at a zoo or at a factory farm or a cage-free industry, because that's not any better. So yeah, I don't want to put my money towards that industry anymore, and it's all for the animals, and I feel like voting with your dollar makes all the difference. That's how companies know that people want cruelty-free options and vegan food and things like that, by voting with your dollar. So I'm sorry I got kind of choked up thinking about the dairy industry, but being a mom now, that really makes me upset. But as it should. I think people should learn more about what's really going on in their food. I think, like I said, with the whole middleman thing, you buy your meat at a grocery store, so you don't really think about what's behind it. How is that animal getting killed? How are they being treated? What are they thinking on their last days? It's just so sad to me. And, you know, there's a middleman, so all you do is you go to the store and you purchase it and you cook it and you eat it. You don't have to think about what's done before that. So it's really sad, and, you know, I don't think a lot of people really think about there is a middleman. Because if you saw, say, a cow walking down the street or a pig walking down the street, you wouldn't salivate, and you wouldn't just think, that live pig just looks so delicious, I'm just going to go run up to it and take a big bite out of it. I don't think so. Babies wouldn't do that. Kids wouldn't do that. You're not born desiring live animals. So, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Hopefully that makes sense. But there is a middleman for a reason, because they make it look appealing because you don't have to do the dirty work. So, at the end of the day, that's why I'm vegan. That's why I will always be vegan, because I love animals. I feel like people that love their cats and their dogs and, you know, guinea pigs, they love pets. If you still eat meat and you say that you're an animal lover, I don't believe that for 1 second. I think it was Miley Cyrus who said, you are a lover of pets, not animals, which is so true, because it's hypocritical. You're eating a hamburger, but you're saying you love animals? How does that make sense? I'm not trying to judge anybody by any means. Pretty much everyone in my life is not vegan, so I'm not judging anybody. It just doesn't make sense to me how somebody can call themselves an animal lover but still eat animals. Doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I am vegan for the animals. I turned vegan for the animals, and I'm still vegan for the animals, and I will always be vegan for the animals. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I hope I didn't ramble on and on. If you have any other questions, if I missed anything about this topic, let me know down below and I can make another video on this. This is something that's very, very important to me, hence why I have a YouTube channel on being vegan and eating vegan, and I try not to be a pushy vegan, because I feel like nobody wants to hear that. That just gives vegans a bad name. So I kind of just try to push me being vegan, being married to a non-vegan, how we make it work, eating delicious vegan food, and yeah, so I hope that made sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, please let me know down below, and if you like these coffee chats and want me to do more, let me know what topics you want me to talk about, and let me know down below. So thank you all for watching. This is about 20 minutes, so I hope I can cut this down. If you're still here, then cheers, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!